How much money can you earn doing stock video and how much time does it take? We are very excited about today's video because today we have done the unthinkable. We have come up with a dollars per hour earnings rate for our stock video portfolio.
We are JD and Kyle. We are full-time photographers. We like to make videos every week on how to make money from your camera. If you guys like videos like this, please give us a thumbs up and don't forget to hit that subscribe button and hit the bell notification. You've been asking us, guys, how long does it take you? How much time are you putting into your stock photography and stock video journey? Today we are going to dive into each part of the process for stock video, how much time each part takes, and then try to figure out an hourly how much we're making per hour that we have spent doing stock video up until this point. And at the very end of this video, we are going to talk a little bit about BLACKBOX and if it is worth a consideration. We've heard a lot about BLACKBOX online from other YouTubers, and we've heavily contemplated whether it's something that we wanted to look at or not, so we're gonna deep dive into that at the very end of the video today. So moving on to the video part, the first step again is going to be validating your concept. So Kyle, when it comes to videos, how long is it taking you to validate your concepts?
It's pretty much the same as photo as far as validation goes. I'll jump on to Shutterstock and I'll start checking around to see how saturated that particular niche is. If I find a niche that's a little bit saturated, I might start adding some more tail end keywords to try and make it more and more specific until I find something that I'm happy with, or I just abandon the idea. But altogether, it takes me about a minute to validate my concepts. And I went through and I counted through all our different videos, about 40 video concepts that I've validated. So I spent about 40 minutes total validating videos. That's not a lot of time. I think compared to you were saying you did about 5 minutes.
I do conceptualizing, I do like other stuff.
But you do other stuff, so I do my conceptualizing later on in the process. The total about 40 minutes for validating my concepts.
So next step in the process is gonna be prepping before your shoot. So when it comes to prepping, how much time are we spending as far as like video prep work goes and all the different aspects?
For video prep work, I'm looking at things like getting my model releases in order. I'm also getting my props together and all my equipment charged, just like photography. And I spend time conceptualizing during my prep period versus I think you do more of your conceptualizing during your validation process.
Yeah.
But overall, prep time, I spend about 30 minutes per structured shoot that I've done, getting all my props together, getting everything set up, getting my equipment ready to go. Video is still really new to me. I struggle a little bit with different things, but about 30 minutes per shoot times, I've done about roughly 20 stage shoots for video, so that equals about 9 hours worth of time just getting props and everything set up for my shoots.
Is that including breakdown time as well?
That's also including breakdown time. So it's setup and breakdown. So conceptualizing, I spend roughly about 3 minutes per concept. Going through my portfolio, I've counted about 30 concepts, 30 different concepts that I've actually executed on. So that's about 90 minutes worth of time spent coming up with concepts for my shoots. So about an hour and a half there. And then for model releases, I don't have a whole lot of model releases that I've done. I think I've done about 4, but somehow I've managed to spend about 4 hours working on it.
About an hour for each.
Yeah, I was kind of investing more time just figuring out how it works on each different platform and honestly trying to figure out how I can do it quicker for the future. Okay, so total time for prep work has taken me about 14 and a half hours per video.
Moving on with execution, how long would you say on average we're spending executing each particular shoot?
On average, I think I spent about 40 seconds per clip, which I've uploaded or I've created 562 videos. 40 seconds times 562 is roughly 6 hours and 14 minutes time actually executing, actually filming the video clips.
Then we have the post-production process next. That's going to be including your culling, your cutting, trimming, editing, all that fun stuff. How long are we spending on those different parts of the process?
So for culling, I spend about 10 seconds per clip. That's just enough time for me to watch the clip and I'll get an idea pretty quickly whether or not it's going to have anything.
A good clip or a bad clip.
Right, whether it's going to have anything usable in it or not. If it doesn't, I trash it. If it does, move on as soon as I see something that I think is good. So about 10 seconds per clip times, again, 562 clips. I'm looking at about an hour and a half spent on culling. And then as far as editing goes, and this is something I've gotten much faster at as I've done it more and more and learned a lot more about it. But I think I've got my editing process down to about a minute per clip, and I think I can get even faster still. But as far as editing goes, that's just cutting, color correcting, white balance. If I'm gonna add warp stabilizer or grain removal, any of that stuff, I average about a minute per clip. So that's about 9 hours and 20 minutes worth of time spent editing.
Okay. Up next, we have keywording. After all of the clips have been edited, but they've been exported out of Premiere, then we are going on to the keywording process.
For keywording, my titles, my keywords, my descriptions, I'm doing all of that together in our XPIC software that you also use for photo. And for that, it takes me 3 minutes and 7 seconds per video clip to do my keywords, descriptions, and title. You multiply that by 562 videos, you get a grand total of 28 and a half hours spent keywording.
Wow, that's a lot.
Quite a bit of time.
So then we have our uploading process.
So video, again, is pretty similar to photo. I do it in batches. I'll usually do it in FileZilla because I've found that's what works best for us. XPix wasn't getting it.
It was crashing.
It was crashing midway through the process. So we use FileZilla for video, pretty much the same as XPix. It's very quick. It's maybe taking me about 30 minutes of time total to do all of our videos just because I can do large batches at a time. So it's pretty negligible.
So after everything has been uploaded into the 3 different platforms that we are currently submitting to, then you actually have to get around to submitting. So what does that submission process look like? What are you doing for that, and how long is it taking you to do that?
For my 3 different platforms, I feel like it's actually pretty different for each of them.
Okay.
My quickest one is definitely Pond 5 because Pond 5 I can just do in large batches.
And the metadata
The metadata sticks on Pond 5, so I don't have to go back and reapply anything. So with Pond 5, I'll really just batch it, and I'll do about 50 videos at a time. That's just what I've been doing. You could do more or less. But each batch takes me roughly a minute and a half to just get on the platform, select the ones I want, put in the data I need to, and actually submit it. So that's pretty quick. So in total, it's taken me about an hour and 15 minutes submitting on Pond 5. On Shutterstock, it takes me significantly longer. Shutterstock, I actually have to go and reattach all the metadata because for whatever reason it doesn't transfer. So I'll reload the files in XPix and I'll copy and paste all the metadata into Shutterstock. So that takes me about 33 seconds per video.
If we are doing something wrong, please comment below because this is such a long and lengthy process. And I feel like we shouldn't have to do this. I feel like with Shutterstock and Adobe Stock, the meta should stick with the files when you upload them. You shouldn't have to reapply them. So
that would be nice.
If there's something that we're missing, that we're not doing correctly, we would love to hear about that.
So total, the number of videos that we've uploaded on Shutterstock at 33 seconds per video, it's taken us about 5 hours and 9 minutes total time to get them just submitted. After that, we've got Adobe Stock, and Adobe Stock takes about 5 seconds per video because I do have to go in and click a few things once it's in there, but it's much less intensive than Shutterstock. So Adobe Stock is kind of right in the middle there. So total, I spent about 46 minutes on Adobe Stock just submitting my videos for a grand total of roughly 7 hours, just over 7 hours worth of time spent just submitting my videos once they're all created. So I'm not factoring into this all the time that I've spent learning. For both of us, video is a very new process. Learning different filming techniques.
How to use a camera.
How to use a camera is all brand new to us for filming.
Editing,
all that process was brand new, so that took a lot of time to actually learn. I'm not factoring that in because I honestly don't even know how much time I spent doing that. It's
lots of rabbit holes.
There's a lot of hours I spent doing that. But just to give you guys an idea of the numbers that we're throwing at you right now. So looking at that, if you add it all up for video, you will find that we are at about 63, just shy of 64 hours worth of time spent doing our video. And we've made $177.91.
About $100 more than photos.
Ooh, pretty nice. And if you do the math there, you'll find that we're making about $2.78 per hour with video.
Ooh.
So far, video has been way more lucrative than photo.
Yeah. You spent less time, you've made more money, and have a higher dollar per hour earning.
Way higher dollar per hour. I'm making $2.78 per hour. This is amazing.
You
can't top that.
It's like the same as like a server would make without tips.
Basically. Again, so yeah, these are not great numbers. This is not something you'd live off of. This is not what I would recommend as a full-time living wage.
You're like an unsuccessful waiter.
Basically. Really, really unsuccessful waiter at this point.
Wow.
At this point, one thing I do want to mention as far as video goes is BLACKBOX. This is something that we've seen a lot. It's a newer website for stock videography specifically. I'm sure if you guys have been looking around, you've seen it. I haven't really dug into BLACKBOX much yet, but I'm interested in it now that I know my numbers here. Because my theory is BLACKBOX submits to Shutterstock, Adobe Stock, Pond5, STORYBLOCKS, and VIMEO Stock. And the reason we're considering this now is because BLACKBOX takes 15% of your earnings in exchange for submitting to these 5 different websites. So my theory is if you are spending more than 15% of your time during the submittal part of your process, then choosing BLACKBOX would make your dollars per hour go up.
Yeah.
Versus if you are spending less than 15% of your time during the submittal part of your process, going with BLACKBOX will make your dollars per hour go down. Right now, we're only submitting to 3 websites. If we were submitting to 5, I'm guessing my submittal time would go up. But right now, just submitting to 3, we're at about 11% of our time total is spent doing submitting. So I'm almost at the point where it would be more profitable to do BLACKBOX just based off of those numbers. You also have to take into consideration the fact that if you're doing BLACKBOX, you're submitting just to the one site and not to multiple sites. So you're also saving on bandwidth because you only have to upload it once, which is something that we found out recently. We went over on our data cap, so we had to start paying more for more data. If you do BLACKBOX, you may not have to pay for that. My question is, now that we know these numbers, is it a good idea to do BLACKBOX? This is something we're considering doing in the next month or two, is starting to upload to them as well as to our other sites.
Yeah, maybe while we're at it, we'll have them do our keywording for us or some other stuff.
Keywording for sure. Yeah, keywording definitely, because keywording takes a huge chunk of both of our time.
Yeah.
Okay, so that about wraps up this video. Do not forget to check out part 3 of our dollars per hour vid series, where we talk about stock photo versus stock video, and we also examine whether or not you want to do this as a hobby versus full-time, what you want to be thinking about.
If you guys like videos like this, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit that bell icon below if you'd like to receive notifications of when we release these videos every week, and we will see you guys next time.